All right, welcome back.
Here we are.
Here we are. We got some fun stuff to talk about. Lots of drama going on over at Project Veritas as James O'Keefe was put on, I think it's paid leave for a couple weeks while they sort some stuff out. We got more information about that Chinese spy balloon or alleged weather balloon that's not a weather balloon at all,
Right.
as well as another object that got shot down just yesterday or today. Was it shot down today?
I think, well,
Or
they,
they
they were talking
mentioned it
about it
yesterday?
today. I think it was yesterday. But
Yeah, so it must have been like last night or something over Alaska. And then AI is taking the world by storm.
yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So before we get started, guys, hit the like, subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what we do and you want to see more of it. Yeah, subscribe to us. You'll get notifications, all that kind of stuff. And you can see our all week long. We'll put smaller videos of what we talk about on the live podcast. If you can't make the live podcast, or you can just check it out on our channel as well. So yeah, let's get right into it.
And we're standing.
Oh yeah, hey,
And you know what I just realized? We probably could have edited your camera a little bit
sorry.
so that our height difference isn't obvious.
It's not like
It's almost like we're standing beside each other.
it's pretty much about
It's
right.
close enough.
It's close enough, yeah.
It's kind of hilarious. I was just noticing that as we're standing here, but we're standing now. You know, I can do this.
I think
I
Tyler,
have I have lots of room for activities over here. I can kick and stuff.
this is what you wanted though. You wanted people to see that we were not the same height.
That's what I was going for.
You're a heightist.
I was advocating that we actually be standing next to each other the entire show,
Yeah,
and you were against that
yeah. You smell funny.
for reasons we understand. So
Yeah.
obviously, I found a workaround.
I had to build some legs today for this damn table we have. So
Yeah, but it works. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
you made me part of my own punishment.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's start with this first article here. This first story. Um, James O'Keefe has been put on. Let's see what they say. I believe it's long-term leave. Yeah, on paid leave from Project Veritas.
Oh, that's nice of him. Paid.
Well, I think
It's his company.
you have to. Yeah. Well,
Well,
I think
not anymore.
technically because it's a nonprofit, I don't know that he can technically own it. But then,
Right.
like, so yeah, it's weird.
But he's the face. He's it.
Yes, James O'Keefe is Project Veritas, which is what a lot of people are saying. Um, and so I guess what's going on? People are complaining that he's mean. Um,
All right.
like there were some employee complaints about some actions that he took or that he said some things that were a little bit harsh to somebody, and it almost sounds like he's just maybe hard to work for because he maybe demands a lot out of his employees,
Mhm.
which is
That would be
some
irritating.
people are like that, and yeah, it could be irritating, but at the same time, I mean, you could maybe argue that that's why Project Veritas is the way it is.
Right.
Um,
I mean, unless he's actually um, breached some type of human rights type thing, or if he's just a bit of a dick. Well, okay.
yeah,
I've
so
worked for dicks.
there was this Twitter thread talking about it from this guy, and they basically say that they held a 6.5 hour struggle session versus him, where they subjected him to constant derision and insults at the insistence of tiermen who O'Harry and Hinckley, who I believe are some of the board members. Apparently, there were 10 employees that aired grievances about James, which essentially boiled down to him being a tough boss to work for. I think I would like to point out too that this Twitter thread is likely very biased in favor of O'Keefe. So, like, he's framing it this way. He might be right, he might not be right, but that seems to be the impression that a
So
lot
you're
of people
saying,
are
oh, this
getting.
is in favor of? Okay.
Yeah, this guy doing this Twitter thread, like later in the thread, this person even mentions that if O'Keefe's out, he's not going to be a supporter of Project Veritas. Um, but yeah, he says it was literally a Stalin-esque kangaroo court trial. The thing that is so very profound to me that no one seems to grasp: John Garvey and the rest of the board did nothing to stop it. Matt Tierman had it all scripted, all 6 fucking hours.
Well,
And
that's pretty awful. So you're gonna sit down and
yeah,
have people just berate you for 6 hours and tell you how tough you are to work for all this. That doesn't sound constructive at all.
no,
It sounds a little witch hunty.
yeah, and there was another point made here.
Cool. Oh my God, I woke up to 1.3 million
Yeah,
notifications this
I
morning.
know. That's a lot, right? Talk about your phone exploding.
Yeah.
Um, I forget what the other point that I had here was. Obviously, maybe it wasn't that important. Um, oh, right. So I don't know if you made it in this thread. It seems that so this whole thing almost seems like it seems very suspect.
Hmm.
That like immediately after one of their biggest exposés ever, they
Yeah.
kind of stage a coup against him.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple angles that you can take. Like you can go the conspiracy angle and say that maybe it's infiltration from some of these organizations, maybe even the government's involved to try to get James O'Keefe out because they know if they get James O'Keefe out, it's just a matter of time before it falls apart. Or they get somebody in there who is gonna play
Chill.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also maybe it's like Project Veritas is able to raise a lot of money. I assume they have a lot of income. So I wonder if they potentially want to funnel more of that money into their pockets. And O'Keefe is someone who like truly believes in the mission of Project Veritas and isn't about that. And so maybe that's why they want him out, so that they can kind of
Yeah.
give themselves a nice paycheck, a nice bigger paycheck or bonuses or whatever.
Yeah. That's plausible for sure.
You know,
Yeah. Well, you said it. The timing suspect.
yeah,
Like
very
you just put this big expose
huge.
against a major pharmaceutical company, and we all know that they've got power, a lot of power. So
Yeah,
I
who knows
yeah
if it
I
has them?
I don't want to
The
speak.
government's involved too. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn too much too early because it is pretty early. And
yeah,
it's easy to jump on that boat to say, oh, it's big
yeah.
pharma. They're going after him. That sounds very conspiracy theory type thing to me, like without any evidence of it. It is, although it does smell
It
like
is
shit.
suspect. It does
Yeah,
smell bad. Whether it's conspiratorial or whether it's just the board members wanting more control over the money.
yeah.
That could be very likely as well.
Hmm.
Um,
But the timing's
I think
weird.
either way, though, James O'Keefe is Project Veritas, and there isn't they're not gonna be successful without him.
You would think that
I
it
don't think they have a chance.
Right. You would think that if you, as a board member, your utmost, like your biggest job is to make sure that the company does well.
Yeah,
This company, because he's the face, doesn't really stand much of a chance to do very well without him, at least in the short term.
yeah.
Unless they could get if they had somebody very fast that was like a second, and then that person stepped in, okay, but I don't know that he's second in Project
Especially like
Veritas.
the nature of it. It's like
Right.
it's him.
Yeah.
He's the face. He's the thing behind it. He's what built it. He's how it started. Like I don't know. I don't know that it's possible to replace him at all,
Yeah.
unless does he have a son we don't know about who's like old enough?
Yeah. And would they
you
want it?
know?
Would they want that anyway? They'd be like,
Yeah, I know. It seems
I think he's around
seems like they're
40.
grasping at straws here.
I think he's right
Uh,
around 40. So the chance of him having a son that's of age to
very
do it's
low, very
probably
low.
pretty low. Yeah.
And oh, I think some of the employees that signed the thing um, kind of admitted that they didn't like it was like
They were coerced a little bit.
no, the accusations sounded bad, so like, oh, if this happened, that's horrible. So they signed it, but they didn't. They themselves
Didn't have any
didn't
personal.
know.
Yeah.
They didn't have the experience. They didn't know of any of the instances happening. So it's like, yeah, it's very, very suspect. And I guess one of the things they accused him of, which is, they say that he stole a sandwich from a pregnant lady at one point. Right? Like, how fake does
Yeah.
that sound?
Sounds awesome.
It
Hey,
sounds,
he took candy from the baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he once parked in a handicapped parking spot.
I hear he
It's
does
not
that. I
handicapped.
hear he does that like twice a week.
Oh,
Yeah,
he should be hung.
yeah. And one time when the fire department was rescuing a cat from a tree,
Yeah.
he came by and he put the cat back in the tree later. Yeah,
Oh, so he could do an expose on the cat.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the cat worked for Pfizer.
It was the Pfizer cat.
Yeah, this is a Pfizer cat.
Yeah, this all stinks. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be getting blown up a little too. Maybe there was sort of maybe there was this little stupid intervention, this work intervention type thing, and he said, "Hey, you know what? Just I need a little time off. Give me a little time off," and they
Maybe,
did that.
yeah.
But if they
Yeah, I think he has remained silent on the whole thing
right,
so far, so we don't necessarily know what his thoughts are,
yeah.
or anything like that.
I mean, I'm surprised that they have that kind of power to just oust him.
I'm not because it's a nonprofit.
Right,
I'd imagine there's a lot of things that you have to do eh, in order to legally run a nonprofit that involve delegating power and making this sort of thing possible. It's probably completely possible for them to get him out of there
right.
permanently, and there's probably nothing you can do about it. Um, but
I
you
mean,
know,
but then what? He just goes start his own damn thing.
yeah,
It's like anybody does. Like Bill O'Reilly did that when Fox got rid of him. He's got his own thing now. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah. I mean, I could see James O'Keefe
they
just
all do
starting
that.
like Project Veritas 2,
Or
and
wouldn't even call it. I would just say James O'Keefe
yeah,
investigates or something.
yeah, something like that, and it'll just everything that Project Veritas has would just follow him, and then Project Veritas would die.
Right.
Because what are they going to do?
Yeah.
They can't raise the money. They don't have the investigative journalism to support it.
Right. So
But
we'll see how this goes.
yeah,
All unfolds.
yeah. Um,
Um.
it seems a little dark in here. Do you want to run over there and flick all the lights on real quick? I just feel like I see shadows in the shot. Yeah, that's a little better. I think that's all the way up. Yeah, it's definitely better. Part of it might be the screen too, but when you did that, that got brighter. So
It's
that's
a good thing
good.
I built this place in a way that
If only we could turn this cameras to the ceiling.
it's made for lights. Yeah,
There's lights everywhere. Um,
lots of lights.
yeah, you can have that back.
All right.
Um, all right, yeah. So I guess we move right on to the next topic here.
Okay.
Um,
So this one is interesting.
yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, set
All
up here.
right.
Yeah, so this is a bill, a Massachusetts bill that that's going to allow
It proposes to
yeah,
let prisoners donate orgage.
mortgage. But
It proposes to allow prisoners to donate organs in exchange for shorter prison sentences. And this
that doesn't sound like a slippery slope.
this just is just wild to me because this to me sound like that should never be on the table for
Yeah,
one.
right.
But this to me sounds like something that starts out as like, well, you donate, something small. I think bone marrow was a part of it. I don't remember what exactly it was. What else?
Probably
But
kidney, liver.
it's, yeah, stuff that you could live without,
Yeah.
gallbladder, whatever. Um,
Well, gallbladder, I
I
don't
don't know
think
about
anybody.
that,
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't.
things that you could live
Part of
without.
your liver, like
Um,
80% of your liver, I guess.
yeah, yeah, stuff
A
like that.
lung.
I think that this starts out as like, I don't know, they float it as like a goodwill thing. So you do some good, you get extra time, right? Because some people need these organs. So you know what? If you're compatible, maybe you could do that. You can get a couple years off or something.
Right.
But I see this very quickly devolving into a situation where it's like you're just given absurd prison sentences, and the only way out of them is to donate organs.
Yeah. Oh, you stole a car? Well, that's 20 years.
Yeah, or like
Oh,
you get like sentenced. You basically get you get like 100 years for like a petty crime, and then they're like, well, if you just give someone 80% of your liver, then we'll give you a normal sentence.
hmm
It'll be a 3-year sentence instead of 100 years, right? And then it might get even more extreme, where it's like, well, maybe you give up more.
yeah.
You give up a lung.
I had an idea for this a long time ago, actually. Oddly enough, it was,
There's like it almost encourages people
yeah,
or law enforcement to um, arrest, to like put people in jail
right.
if there's a high demand
Right.
for like organs and things. It's just
Yeah.
like,
I had this idea when I sold life insurance a while back when I was an advisor. I thought, okay, so you know how a lot of people don't have money, right to the end of their life, essentially, right? They
mhm,
might have a house that might be the only thing they have. They don't have any money to leave kids or that kind of thing. I thought about it if somebody was, you know, let's say they knew they were terminally ill on something else, or whatever, and they had good organs to give, or whatever, instead of donating them, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of falls into the same line, right?
Yeah, I think it opens the door to so many dystopian
So do
things
I.
where
Yeah.
like you really incentivize people to do that. It sounds good at first, right?
Mhm.
But then it's like, ooh, but what if like now we find ourselves in a situation where we're kind of pushing people into a scenario where that's the only option they have, or it's the
Mhm.
only option they feel they have, and they're going to be like heavily pushed into it.
Yeah.
Like it's like this whole legalized euthanasia that they're doing. The government's even recommending it sometimes. Like,
Yeah. Where
so
it gets really weird is like if you're of sound mind, I mean, and you decide that you want to kill yourself, sure, I think you should be able to avail yourself of that with some grace time because
yeah.
you don't want to make hasty decisions. I had a bad fucking day. I'm going to go kill myself. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
but
I think you should be able to, but
yeah, yeah.
I don't think we should be encouraging
But
anybody to do
exactly.
that, you
And I
know?
mean, when you get into the weird thing, we talked about this on another podcast where
Yeah.
now what if the state can step in and say, we're going to make that decision, or
Yeah.
they said, you have
It's like what they're
an
doing
adolescent.
it's what they're doing with the transgender kids.
Yeah.
They're recommending surgeries and stuff, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like you're talking about like a 12-year-old here,
These
right?
are
And you're
life-changing
you're
surgeries.
recommending that we literally sterilize them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what the hell?
Like that's
So,
another
so
slippery
how
slope.
long until they recommend like, oh, you're sad?
Yeah.
Well, we get that was one of the main stories, because it's in Canada. It's here in Canada where euthanasia is legal now.
Right.
Is it all Canada or is it like a province or something? I don't
The
know.
only province I would think maybe it wouldn't be would be something like Alberta because they're a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
more
It
conservative.
might be federal though. And so, but anyway, one of the stories was a woman wrote to wrote to the government about accessibility in her apartment. They wanted them to like build a ramp or something to make it more accessible to her because she was handicapped. And they recommended euthanasia. That's literally what they recommended. It's like, well, we can't install that wheelchair ramp, but we can facilitate your death.
Well, I mean,
It's
hey,
like, holy
you could
crap.
call this company, but it's going to cost you about $20,000. You can call this company, probably going to cost you 25,000. Or you just kill yourself.
Oh, you just kill yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I highly recommend
we'll
the
do
kill
that.
yourself.
They do it quick,
Yeah,
hardly any pain at all.
yeah, it's barely, and you wouldn't even know
But there
anyway. You're
was
going to
that
be
one
dead.
guy that had a reaction. He was all twitchy and he
Yeah.
started foaming at the mouth. We promise we got that under wraps. We fixed it. It's completely fine now.
Yeah, that's the Jake incursion. We got the Jake incursion handled. You might hear that once in a while. We got it. We got it taken care of.
Yeah.
Jake was a bit of a pansy
I'd be
anyway.
honest, I don't know about you, but as morbid as it is, if I was to be executed, I think I'd rather it be like with a bullet than an injection of
Yeah,
any kind,
yeah. Well, there's all kinds of weird.
or like a giant boulder
Yeah,
that they just push over a hill onto you.
yeah. I mean, it depends on what they're injecting in you, and but I don't know. You don't.
I
I don't
think
know
to me,
how.
I just don't trust
Yeah,
enough.
you
And
just don't
like,
know how
just
it's gonna.
shoot me.
Yeah, you don't know how it's. But
Don't actually shoot me. But if it ever came down to that,
there's all
like I
kinds of
just
weird. There's all kinds of weird examples of people that get shot in the head, or the one I
yeah,
told you.
do it into.
We're living a weird time, man. We're talking about weird shit like this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that kind of
Yeah.
goes into it gets into it takes us into our next sort of thing we want to talk about a little
Yeah.
bit, um, which is equally
Yeah.
weird.
Equally weird, similarly terrifying,
I would think so.
because it's in the same vein of us moving towards a dystopian future of sorts. Um, so
Human
I don't
meat?
know. Would you eat human meat grown in a lab?
No,
No,
it's just
right?
I don't even need to think about
This
that.
article is so weird to me because it's like, why even entertain the idea of eating human meat that was grown in a lab? Because it's like, if we can eat meat, if we can grow meat in a lab, why would you even consider growing
I
human
love
meat?
this. I love what it says there. It goes, if we can, if what if human meat is grown? Could we overcome our taboo against cannibalism?
Yeah,
Shouldn't we have a fucking taboo against
I think we
cannibalism?
should. I think it's a very good taboo.
You know what? Hey, while we're at it, why don't we get rid of the taboo against pedophilia
and murdering people,
yeah, like,
and I mean, they are already trying to get rid of the taboo of stealing.
fuck me.
But like, this is such an insane thing. Like, what are they trying to say? What are they trying to advocate for in this article?
The lizard people are getting much more brazen. Maybe they
Yeah,
have a timeline. Maybe that's it. Maybe they have a timeline, and we've
yeah,
kind of gotten either close to it or we've gone past the expiration of it, and they're like, we got to move into fucking phase 2 here. Like, these
yeah,
humans they're not falling for all the other shit. Let's just go for it.
yeah.
Let's tell them to eat each other.
I,
We'll start creating shortages of food, like eggs and shit like that
yeah,
you're already seeing, and then we'll just say, hey, what if you just try a human?
yeah.
They're delicious.
It's such an either idiotic or insidious question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't get it. Why? Why even consider? Like,
What makes it kind of scary though is it's like, isn't this where was this backed by or something? This isn't. It's not like this is super
this
fringe.
this lab growing meat in a
Yeah,
lab, or growing
yeah,
people meat in a lab?
yeah. Growing people meat.
I've never heard of growing people. The
No,
only thing I've heard,
but I'm saying is this is like this isn't like a fringe thing, is it? Fringe topic, or is it like actually
I don't know.
this is live science?
Like, yeah, I don't know if like how, like, I mean, this is setting a
I'm
question.
saying it could be
Like,
like an Inquirer type.
Richard Dawkins sort of inquired about this.
Jeez.
And that's kind of what this is based on. But I mean, like, I've never heard of lab grown human meat before, other than maybe in the context of growing organs or
Right.
printing organs. Like, they
Yeah.
can do that, and that's pretty cool, and that's really good, and we should be doing that. And then we don't have to
Harvest each other.
make our prisoners and
Yeah.
give us their organs. That reminds me of this game. There's a game called RimWorld, where you control a little colony of people, and you can do a lot of stuff in this game. But you could just harvest people's organs in it. Like, so every now and then you'll get like raided, or travelers will wander by, and you can like capture them and just take their organs. You can keep alive. You can eat them if you really want to.
Ugh.
But it'll cause your people to like go insane. But you can do it.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. And oh yeah, the game's cool. All the crazy stuff you can do. But yeah,
There was a
making
movie.
organ farm.
I think there was a movie called something like Body Parts or something where
Art says to make the earth more green, we need to eat each other to lower carbon emissions. I maybe.
well, look, if you
Why don't
have
we just eat everything else though? Because that would have a similar effect, wouldn't it?
well, if you have one less arm,
Hmm.
that's 50% carbon reduction just based on the amount of things that you could do with that other arm.
Yeah, but all of our carbon emission is machinery, right? So not having an arm doesn't reduce your ability unless you get rid of like both your arms. And
Okay,
then you
slow
can't
down, buddy.
then you
Slow
can't
down.
operate machinery
Slow down.
necessarily.
I'm into 50%. I don't know if I'm into 100%. Yeah, this is weird, man. This is all fucking weird. Would you be curious to try it?
No,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't even consider.
not even in the
You're telling me
slightest.
this is human meat? No, absolutely not.
How pissed off would you be if somebody tricked you?
Very. I'd be very angry about that. Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, how's that
But
steak?" And
that's
you're like, "Yeah, this is the best steak I've ever had in my
that's like
life."
evil.
Yeah,
That's like Mike's story the other night.
yeah,
And like that's one of the fringes of evil.
oh yeah. Well,
Um,
I'm sure if you could do it, there will be people out there that are doing it. They're tricking each other with shit like
oh
this
yeah, absolutely.
because
Well,
people are sick.
who did that? Didn't Dahmer do that?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was eating people, right?
Yeah, he was trying to
Didn't he give
he
it to someone?
to his neighbor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he was trying to make her eat it, and she wouldn't.
But she knew what it was,
Well, she just didn't
or she
trust him.
didn't.
She
She
just
knew
didn't trust him at all, right? She
he
didn't
was.
know he was necessarily eating people, but she was like,
Yeah, I feel like maybe she
she was like,
might have
"Fuck
called
this
the
guy."
police if she thought he was eating people, but
Now I don't know how much of that was like if you watched that Dahmer.
no.
Oh, you didn't watch the miniseries? Really, really good, by the way. I don't know how much of that was like actually true or anecdotal or what.
Or playing it up for
Right?
dramatic
Yeah,
effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in the show, that's what he does. He makes I forget what it was. But he makes something with meat in it.
See, some of that stuff, that true story stuff, like sometimes it's weird. Like, The Conjuring, right?
Hmm.
The Conjuring people that actually went through like the real story,
Right.
They said that the movie barely scratched the surface of doing it justice, like what actually went on
So
in
there's
that
way
house.
more than what the
They're
movie
saying it was
said.
like way worse, way more terrifying, way more stuff was happening, way more like
Maybe they just don't
freaky
want to
stuff.
fucking freak their audience out.
Yeah, but that it's weird to me, right? Like you take this movie, this ghost movie about like a demon or whatever, and you got all this freaky stuff going on, but it's based on a true story, which is fine. There's lots of stuff that's based on true stories, and then you assume that The Conjuring might be like the kind of movie it is, but they're playing a lot of stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
They're blowing stuff out of proportion for theatrics, right, to make a good movie.
Sure.
But then you hear from the people that it's like, nah, this doesn't even do it justice. Like what? What was happening in that house?
Ooh, that's some fucked
And
up
so
shit.
you wonder that about like about certain things like Dahmer or anything else.
Well, you got to wonder about even
You see it was Suits
the show Suits.
Suits. Yeah, was it Suits that Bill Clinton said was basically real?
I don't know. I never really watched the show. It's about
But
lawyers, right?
it's about the president, right?
Oh no, that's you're thinking of the one with pedophile guy,
Kevin
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey, right? Is that what you're thinking of?
I don't know.
Which is
Isn't Kevin Spacey in Suits? I don't
no,
know.
no.
What's the one? What's the government one?
What helps other?
It's gone.
I don't know what the name of it is offhand. I can't remember.
I thought it was Suits.
No, it's not. Suits is another show, but I don't know. Like I don't know Suits for that. I don't know if
I haven't
and
seen
Suits is
it
not
either.
a Suits
What
isn't a political thing. House of
show?
Cards. House of
House of
Cards. That's
Cards.
it.
I think that's
Yeah,
the one.
that's based on Clinton and his wife, essentially, like loosely. It's the exact dynamic, and they even were flirting with before they canceled the show because of him, where she was going to run for president.
Yeah,
The only difference was like it didn't. The way
I
he
don't remember.
became president wasn't the same way.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't remember where he said, but apparently Bill Clinton just basically said about that movie that like it's basically
show.
like
It's a show.
real
Yeah.
show, but it's basically
Well,
real. It's basically like yeah, that's basically how it is.
he's
Which is
talking
horrifying
probably.
when you think about all the stuff that goes on in that
Yeah,
show.
he's talking about like the way they make deals. The
Mm,
Senate makes deals and Congress makes
there's
deals and
that.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, there's the reason why that show was so good that way is because it literally takes a lot of books and all that kind of stuff that wrote about that kind of thing and then compiles it into the show to make it really real. Like that willing and dealing and stuff, it's all, that's the real way they actually do that, where
Right.
they bargain with each other. I mean, they just fucking did it with McCarthy, with the speaker. Like, in order to get him as speaker, they made all these little deals. It's like, how weird is that, man? Like, talk about, I don't know. It's so,
Shady,
yeah, it's shady because it's like,
sketchy,
it's this whole
weird.
thing of like, okay, so I want to get this thing that I believe is good for America or my constituents or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go, well, but I'll give in on this thing that I don't think's good
Mm-hmm.
because if I don't give in on that, I won't get that. This bargaining shit is not the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Like it's too high level at this point.
None of it's the way it's supposed to be done. It's too big.
Yeah, it's too high level. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to have smaller government and more more localized government, so they actually know the people.
Yeah.
This is just gross.
Yeah.
All right.
And that brings us into our next topic. It's not entirely unrelated,
No.
but they have recovered the drone, the spy balloon, the totally non-spy balloon, weather balloon, I mean, that the Chinese government
The totally weather balloon.
sent over U.S. airspace. And what they're saying now, a senior state, this is CNN, by the way,
Wow.
a senior State Department official said Thursday that the balloon was capable of conducting signals intelligence collection operations. It was part of a fleet that had flown over more than 40 countries across 5 continents. So they're sending these things everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The Biden administration determined that the Chinese balloon was operating with electronic surveillance technology capable of monitoring U.S. Communications, according to official. We know the PRC, I believe it's People's Republic of China,
Mm-hmm.
the CCP, use these balloons for surveillance. The official said high-resolution imagery from U-2 flybys revealed that the high-altitude balloon was capable of conducting signals intelligence collection operations. Signals intelligence refers to information that is gathered by electronic means, things like communications and radars. And then it says that they haven't said anything about like the payload, so like the brunt of it, because they say it was like 900 pounds or 900 kilograms or something like that. There's a lot of it was pretty big and heavy.
So how was it? It was a balloon, so it was like.
But it also
How was
had
it flying?
well, so you can control where you're going in a hot air balloon, right?
Sure, yeah.
But you go
Yeah.
up and down into different flows. So
Yeah, but you have to control the.
yeah,
but
you
if,
could easily.
if nobody's in there, I guess they would
No,
have
you
to
don't. Well,
remote.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could easily do that. But apparently it had propellers on it.
But it says. I mean, that would scream that it's not just released, and it's like,
Oh yeah,
let's see what it collects. Somebody's
yeah.
controlling it.
Even if they didn't have like propellers, as long as it had like the proper electrical equipment, you could control it.
Mhm.
Because you could just have it go up and down to get into certain wind flow directions, but it didn't have to do that because it had propellers. So it was controlled. And China said it like blew off course. Is like, I mean, it was flyable though.
Right.
So
It's a pretty
yeah.
big thing to just blow off course and be like, oh fuck, oops, I don't know where it is. Like, okay.
Well, that's just their excuse.
Yeah, no, of course.
Right. Yeah. So I guess a lot of it's underwater, or at least that's what they're saying. So they don't know fully what it was capable of yet. They haven't gotten
Yeah,
like
because
the
that
main.
was fucking smart. Shoot it down over water.
Yeah, it's kind of smart. Like so you're not gonna hit anybody, but
Yeah, but then you're gonna have a hard time getting any of this shit either.
I don't know if it's gonna be that hard.
I can't see.
It's probably just gonna take
You
longer.
couldn't pinpoint it over like a farm, over some farmland.
Well, that's where they should have done it over Montana in the first place. It's weird that they let it go all the way across the country, knowing that it was probably spying. Which might be why they shot down this other object, which is kind of another story we have that's tangential to this one. This is a live article. I don't know when the last time it was updated with the Independent. A Pentagon retrieving second car-sized object shot down by F-22 jets over Alaska. When this was shot down over sort of northern Alaska, there's if I scroll down far enough here, there's a map.
Did you pat? I saw it. Oh.
Right here. So right up top. So this is basically like the second this thing entered U.S. airspace, they shot it down. Now this one's interesting because they don't know what it is. It's not a balloon necessarily. It was like a car-sized object. They didn't know if it had maneuverability or anything like that. Like they don't know too much about it until they recover it. I'm assuming then they're going to know about it.
That was Marty and Doc from Back to the Future. It was a DeLorean.
Maybe it's aliens.
Was it shaped like a DeLorean?
Listen, we don't know what it looked like. So, but this is interesting, right? So now in like just a few days, we got two things shot down over U.S. airspace. One of them for sure was a Chinese spy balloon, which is like, you speculate why the hell was there. The other one might be car size, 40,000 feet and car size. They're saying it's not necessarily a balloon. Then it might be like a drone of some kind. It could be Russian, could be Chinese, could be extraterrestrial.
Don't discount that.
We're not going to discount that. Well, those things have been flying around. It does fit the description of a lot of UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Someone here said, if John Moravec, I don't know how to say that. If no one dies, I guess it's not that bad. Just weird. Also, I'm pretty sure human meat isn't supposed to taste that different from other meat. So what's the point? I mean, it's people.
No, but he's saying, what's the point of doing it? Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's like if you can grow human meat, why would you not just grow other meat instead?
Well, you're clearly trying to dehumanize people.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Yeah. So I see what he's saying though. Like if no one's dying or suffering for it, it's not that bad, and I agree with that. But it feels insidious to be like, we could grow this fake cow meat, but instead we're growing people meat.
Right.
And he says a thing was shot down over Alaska. Yeah, northern Alaska. Definitely aliens, probably. I'm giving it 95.
Definitely aliens, probably.
We'll see what they say.
Yeah,
Watch them. If they listen, if we don't hear anything about the origin of it in a couple days, or like what it is,
it's aliens,
shape, size, it's
Clearly.
definitely aliens, and they're gonna sweep it under the rug.
obviously.
But realistically, like what is it like? It's so weird that now we got two of these things. Maybe it's Chinese, maybe it's Russian. It's close to Russia, right? So it's possible it's Russian.
Could be
It
Russian.
could have been like a Russian drone that's like wasn't necessarily meant to go over there, and it just maybe got blown off course or something and ended up in the wrong place.
I'm still going with aliens.
Yeah, I guess isn't. Oh, he deleted that, but he's deleting all of his comments now.
He's
Yeah.
an alien.
No,
Johnson alien. We know we're hip to your game.
it could have been a balloon. The reason I think, what did they say about the nature of it? Like it almost sounds like it's not a balloon. Like it was. They're saying that it was a reasonable threat, the size of a small car. I think the balloon's a lot bigger than that.
Right.
Like the actual balloon part. Maybe the payload was about the size of a car based on the mass.
Right.
But
It's just suspect that they shot this one down. Right
yeah. So they're saying it's much smaller than the spy balloon shot down last week. This one, yeah, they shot down right away, which probably indicates that it was solid. And they're saying it posed a reasonable threat to safety, civilian air travel, probably because it's at 40,000 feet. The other one was at 80,000 feet.
Right.
So we can only speculate about what it is.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird to me.
Mhm.
So
I don't know. Well, you know what? If China,
I think it just speaks to like the escalation of everything. Like tensions are so high right now, and there's so many things going on, and no one knows what's happening. Like, why is China sending a spy balloon over across the United States? And what is this thing that they shot down, and why did they shoot it down? Where did it come from? Like, is it? I don't know, man.
we're under attack.
Well, we're definitely under attack if you know anything about TikTok. But like, are we really escalating to that point? Are we getting to things where it's going to be more?
I mean, it could
more
just
intense?
could very well just be the test, right?
Yeah, China testing response times. What you'll do? See what kind of data they can get that like the U.S. will allow them to get.
Right.
Now they have something.
Yeah.
They went over the whole thing. Loon probably served its purpose.
Yeah.
There's no way they didn't get all the data off of it. It's not like it has data on it that they couldn't have just streamed back to China. But now that you destroy it, it's like, oh no, we lost our data. It's not the fucking 1960s.
These are like small provocations, right? It's like just little needling. Let's just see what they'll do when we do this, and then just lie and say, oh well, no, that wasn't for that. We were just conducting this, and it went off. It went off course. You have enough deniability with stuff like this to just get away with it.
Yeah.
And they win the whole way, right? So, like, obviously, if you think about TikTok, just in general, if you think about TikTok, the fact that it's known, it's not even like speculated, it's known that China is taking all of this data from TikTok, so they're gathering all this data, and nobody's doing anything about it. So they're like, hey, just keep pushing it.
Yep.
Let's just keep seeing how far we can go. So I don't blame them. I mean, I'd rather they didn't do it, but I don't blame them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure. We like to sit back on our laurels over here and say that, oh yeah, we're the good guys. I'm sure the U.S. has been doing shit like this since the dawn of time. Of their time, I should say, the dawn of the U.S. time.
Oh yeah, 100%. They're doing that. They're doing that now too.
Sure, and that's what I mean. So
they're just more secretive about it.
Right.
They're doing things that can't be easily shut down.
But there could be two Chinese guys right now talking about the exact same reverse of what we're talking about. Oh, the U.S. sent a drone over mainland China or something like.
They probably don't like. I bet you there's satellites that fly directly over China that they don't like. I wonder if there are though too. Actually, I do really wonder about that because we don't get to know about the classified satellites. We don't really know how many of them are up there, what their capabilities are, but China knows about them. If they're flying over Chinese airspace, they know about them for sure. They're probably tracking every single launch to see what's coming out of it, because SpaceX will do a launch. It's a secret launch, so they'll stream the launch, but they don't do the video of the payload release or anything like that because it's secret.
Right.
So I wonder if any satellites that have gone directly over China has gone up there and pushed out of the way or destroyed, and then we don't hear about it because the U.S. can't really admit necessarily that they had something there.
And who's going to report?
They don't want to.
Who's going to report on it? I think Fox News might.
Yeah, well, it would be the government coming out and saying, this afternoon, Chinese, destroyed a satellite or did something to our satellites. But I don't know that they necessarily would do that.
Yeah,
and so
it's kind of like war games. I think they would all just be like, each country's like, yeah, we'll do this shit, but let's kind of keep it high level.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe we skip right to the last thing.
Oh, you really want to talk about that?
We're kind of running out on time. And this is a big one. I feel like I got a lot to say.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we run out, we're just gonna like shimmy this, and we'll talk about that other thing later.
Yeah.
Our secret topic is what we'll call it.
It'll be for another podcast. You'll have to watch another podcast to get the secret topic.
Yeah, because it's not time sensitive. It's just fun.
Right.
And it's a speculative thing. All right. So this ChatGPT is now taking the world by storm. Everybody's heard about ChatGPT at this point, I believe.
Well, yeah, I would think at least 70% of people have heard about it.
Yeah, and so, let me just open up the big screen. The CEO of OpenAI is the company that created ChatGPT, and for anyone that doesn't know, ChatGPT is like the latest, greatest, most state-of-the-art artificial intelligence that you can use. It's a chatbot, but it can do a lot for you. Like, you can literally write code, and it's pretty crazy. It's not the best in the world at everything that it does, but it's shockingly good at those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's blown me away by its capabilities. We've used it.
Mm-hmm.
We use it to generate tags for this podcast that we're doing right now, and for all of our videos and podcasts. But this is an article where the OpenAI CEO says his tech is poised to break capitalism. And now, like, a lot of people are talking about this as if he's coming at it from the perspective of like communism or socialism or anything like that. But he definitely isn't. This is his quote right here. I think capitalism is awesome. I love capitalism, he told Forbes. Of all the bad systems the world has, it's the best one. Or the least bad one we found so far. I hope we find a better one. Or a way better one. I think that if AGI really truly fully happens, AGI is artificial general intelligence, he continued, I can imagine all these ways that it breaks capitalism. And I think it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's correct. It's like already with what, oh my god, I accidentally did a thing. Already with what ChatGPT is capable of doing, I think that it's going to displace a lot of jobs. Like I've made this argument before with ChatGPT being capable of writing code and doing so pretty good. I think as an example, like, so we know BuzzFeed is using it now to write articles.
Yep.
So, but if you have a company that has 100 employees, your software company, you have 100 programmers, I would be willing to bet that you take your 5, maybe 10 best ones, fire everybody else, and arm the best ones with ChatGPT with the additional power of having these people armed with this thing, as it currently states, and not even talking about any future iterations. I think the company would be more productive. It would be better, and then it would be a lot harder to scale it at a rate to maintain those employees, those extra 90 employees, because then you'd have to 10x your company in a really short amount of time to justify doing that. and I don't know that's going to happen. So I think this is going to displace a lot of things. And then with AI, like it's already demonstrated that it can learn pretty damn complicated things and provide pretty complicated responses and even be creative and stuff like that. I don't think it's very long before artificial intelligence is capable of like doing a lot of the menial tasks out
Right.
there.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it'll all depend. I mean, everybody thought the same of when, when automation came in and, you they thought they were going to be automated out of a job. It does happen in the short term. It does happen. But the difference with this versus something like that, this could be fast.
and
This could be fast
one.
and
So
widespread.
even if there is like there's like it's a shift and new jobs are created for it, it's going to happen quick. And so who's to say that it happening quick doesn't screw everything up?
Maybe. I don't know.
But also the thing that I think is very different about this than any other form of automation that's come is eventually you're going to have an artificial person. You're going to have a robot
Right.
that is functionally maybe even more functional because like I can't move my arm any farther back than this. Maybe the thing could just go all the way around like really efficiently and with more strength and more power, right?
Mhm.
So you have this robot that's like this humanoid shape that's as capable of as a human being, maybe even more capable, maybe stronger. First is probably going to be weaker, like we've seen the specs of the Tesla robot. But that stuff, like the hardware, that stuff develops fast.
Mhm.
So once you have the Tesla bot, it's like how long until you do have something that's equal to most people, and then with the AI in that thing, well then it could just do most of anything, right? There are probably going to be unique cases where like like for example, I think AI is going to displace creative stuff, story writing, article writing, even art, to the extent that the only humans left able to make a career out of those things are going to be the absolute elite of the elite. 'Cause the best of the best, I don't know, like they're probably still going to be the best of the best, right? Even with AI. The same thing with a lot of things. Like maybe there are some very specialized skills that there's going to be a demand for
Mm.
that the AI is going to have a hard time learning to do. But um, everything else, I think it's gonna be better at doing than the average person.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
You know,
I just think
especially
that
once it's like a person, because then you don't have to retrofit the factory.
Yeah.
You know, you could just put the robots in there,
Sure.
and then they could work 24/7.
Right. Yeah, I just think that we can't predict what kind of new jobs or new industries will will come out of this kind of thing. It could open up all kinds of different things. I mean, we might move from a society that's driven by 40-hour work weeks essentially, and work-life balance is awful, to fantastic work-life balances. Maybe
Work
you
a
only work
couple
10,
hours a day
yeah, you work 10 hours a week or something. Maybe you only work 2 hours a
on
day,
your own,
or 3 days a week you only work.
or you work on your own time.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to put in 10 hours in the week. You do it when you want.
Yeah.
You know, do it one day or do it over
How good would
5
that be, honestly? And then if you think
Yeah.
about these,
And
AI.
see, that's the thing about the AI enhancing everything. So it's like that's the problem, though. I think so. If you take people and other who knows how many more times more productive by factoring the AI as a tool in their workplace, like say programmers or just anybody that has a job that requires them to solve problems, like the AI can spit out intelligent answers. So it's like, uh, how long, like, or like how, why keep a lot of these employees around? Like, so if you have 100 employees working 40 hours a week, and you can scale that back, cut your workforce by 90% and have 10 employees work 40 hours a week and be equally or more productive, the cost saved in doing that would be immense. And then that way, instead of having, say, every single one of those employees work like an hour a day and make hardly any money each of them, the ones that are still there are going to make a living, and then the other ones, they'll have to go find another job, and then but at least uh, it's not like you're paying them 40th or not 40, like a maybe a tenth or like a eighth of their total salary.
Right.
Right? So it's like, what's going to be better for a company,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting space.
especially when they start, soon trucking is going to be automated.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't think that's as big a deal as people make it out to be.
Well, I think
Um,
it's the accumulation of it all, right?
yeah, because I think
It's like eventually all the heavy equipment, take a place like U.S. Steel, Stelco, Stefasco.
yeah,
Look at all those places. How many heavy equipment operators are you going to be able to replace with AI? I mean, not necessarily tomorrow, right? Not necessarily soon, but at some point, those things you'll be able to retrofit those things with some kind of AI that can just run them.
right. Well, the replacement rate, the birth rate isn't there anyway, so
That's the other thing too. It might save us.
yeah.
It
So
might save us by reducing the need for work as the supply of workers dwindles,
right.
which is, I guess, that's like the white pill of AI at the moment. That, and I bet you could do things really well, like design a city to be really efficient, to design traffic ways to just have less congestion and be better.
Right.
Um, it could probably help you design a house to include certain things to be efficient and cost effective. You might be able to help us learn um, what types of materials we can maybe use to be more efficient about things. Um, there's so many things that it can help us do in society. Maybe build a more efficient garden system,
Mm,
stuff like that.
yeah, for sure. Do you want to go into the last sort of thing? Show that creepy.
Yeah, it's all related.
Yeah, this is creepy.
This is really creepy. We're gonna try to do a live demonstration of this website. It takes a photo and it animates it. So let me just get rid of that for a second. We're gonna try to do it live. Yeah, take your picture.
Make a weird movement so
All right.
it'll look even weirder.
Now let's see here. Um,
This was unscripted. We did not know we were going to do this necessarily.
yes, we did.
We did, but it's better to say it's unscripted because
Well, it's not
we
scripted. It's like
planned.
half planned.
I've not seen what my weird face is going to look like. I've seen your weird face with this thing, but not my own. This is going to be fun.
It'll be interesting.
If I were single, I'd put it on
You put it on a
a
dating
dating
app?
profile.
I don't know.
It's gonna be like the new thing.
If how mine turned out
Mm, weird and creepy.
is any testimony. All right. Is there a download button on here? There it is.
I have notes here, just so everybody knows. You can see it in the picture there. Here we go.
Right. So there's the picture. Oh, oops. I lost it. Where did it go?
Oh boy. It went in the unnamed folder that you never name. There we go.
Everything has a place and everything's in its place. Okay. So now I'll be able to show everybody what you look like in the image. Okay. There's a picture.
You can see all the lighting in the back and
See, there's a lot of lights in that ceiling.
my messy area back there.
And then if I upload, that photo to this website. It's gonna
Great.
it's gonna animate it,
I'm gonna be on some kind of list now.
and it takes not that long.
There's gonna be like deepfakes now out there.
Well, that's a whole other crazy angle to the AI thing is the deepfake stuff. It's like how long until we have how long until Joe Biden does a speech that's not him at all? But we don't know. We're never gonna know. They're not gonna tell us. I bet you it's happened.
Probably. Maybe Joe Biden actually. I don't want to say he's deceased, but oh, look at the hat too. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh man.
Why does my face look dirty on the one side? Does my face look dirty right here?
I think it's the
Yeah, but looks like dirt on my face.
I don't know. It might just be the shadow effect, and that's
It's
the way that
hilarious.
it's.
Send that to me if you can. Can you or
I can. Yes.
that's
Yes.
hilarious.
Yeah. So that's really, really, really creepy.
Well, also because it makes me look fair.
Yeah. Well, there's a still photograph that was animated with AI, and it's just imagine doing that with like your great grandmother or something like that. I think that's kind of like the premise behind this website.
It'd be like,
Because you can do that. It's like a heritage thing. So
yeah.
you get your old long gone ancestors and you keep them alive by animating them.
Right. No.
That's
I used to
funny.
always say it's funny because, like, bring back dating profiles. You see somebody's picture and their face looks like, for one, they put a picture on there that they want you to see of their
Yeah.
face, but a face looks a lot different when it's moving, but that's not how my face
No,
looks when it's
exactly.
moving.
It's not
So it's
you.
predicting what my face would look like when it's moving without any,
It is no. It's just moving a face.
right.
It's just generally moving a
Yeah.
face. It has no idea
In the
what you look
creepiest
like.
way possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, like, yeah, you're gonna look at some ancestors and be like, ugh.
I think we're not too far off from Harry Potter pictures being everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just moving. They'll talk to you with like deepfake AI type stuff.
Right.
Like when you can upload a person's personality and do an AI, and then it could just like be that person.
Yeah. Oof. This is some creepy dystopic stuff.
Dystopian
Dystopian That's the
scenario.
word I'm looking for. Dystopian stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we can
Well,
we could probably wrap up the podcast on that disgustingly
yeah. We
creepy
could do that, or we
note.
could do another
You want to
5
talk
minutes
about
on
the?
a thing if you want.
All right. Let's do it.
We got that one where we just pushed it back, but
Okay. We'll talk about this last.
I don't think it's gonna take too long here.
No.
I had to sneeze.
Right.
Someone clip that out for the Only Sneezes website.
Oh, that was a hot sneeze.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently, the Earth pulsates every 26 seconds, and no one knows why.
And it's brand new. They didn't know this before, and they know it now.
Well, no, they knew it.
Oh.
They've been measuring it since the 60s. It was first documented in the 60s, and it just happens. And it's like it's one of those things that they say that it might have something to do with like tectonic plates shifting or something like that. But what's odd to me is the frequency, or like it's consistent.
Right. Maybe it's like
Some like gravitational waves doing
maybe
something.
the Earth's alive. The whole thing's alive, and it's like
It's
a
like
heartbeat.
a heartbeat, like Gaia.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Creepy stuff, man.
Yeah. So it's just this weird little thing that's just like one of the big mysteries of our planet. I don't know how to say it's a big mystery, but like, why would it?
They've known it for a long time, though. That's
Yeah,
weird that
and
they don't.
if it's consistent too, so it's not like just this week they're starting pulsate, but it's like why pulsate at that frequency? Usually, I feel like usually when stuff happens in frequency, it's not really like that regular.
Have they kind of pinpointed like where it's coming from, or is it?
No, I think it's just like the center somewhere.
It's in the crust, or in the
locating the
core.
pulse.
That's kind of weird though that we're
Yeah.
talking about this too, because there was that what was it, 8.4 on the Richter scale?
Yeah, the
Earthquake, yeah,
the Turkey
in Turkey,
earthquake, yeah.
yeah.
And there was an earthquake here that apparently people felt in like Niagara Falls.
Oh,
Well, it wasn't here; it was over that way,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that was like at the edge of it. Which is because I've never heard of anyone experiencing an earthquake within driving distance of this place.
No, no. I can't say I've ever I've experienced one that I know I've experienced an earthquake.
Yeah, they don't really know. They don't know what's causing it or like where. I think it's just like kind of coming from the earth as a whole. So it's like it's some kind of um thing that scales the planet, whether it's happening like inside or it has to do with the oceans or volcanoes or whatever. We don't
But
really
that's
know.
really weird that it's every 26 seconds.
Yeah, it's a frequency.
Consistently,
Like
yeah.
yeah, most things that happen regularly, like I'll say there's like a major earthquake every so many million years or something, and it's like yeah,
Well,
but
that implies something like
not
that implies intelligence. Like,
maybe. I don't know
you
that
know,
it implies that, but it definitely could. Like that's not an unreasonable thing to consider.
maybe it's
Um,
maybe it's some kind of
or
weird
it could
alien
be,
probe or something that they put in the planet.
or it could be pulsing. Like it could be like it could stem from outside. So like gravitational waves that are at a particular frequency that are maybe from like stars, two stars really close to each other, or two black holes really close to each other orbiting, causing this pulsing every, it's a 26-second period of the pulse of the gravitational wave.
Hmm.
And that's maybe it's big enough that it's impacting the earth, but they can detect gravitational waves. So I feel like if it was that, they'd probably detect that. They'd probably be able to see, oh, every 26 seconds we're hit with with the pulse of from a gravitational wave somewhere off in the big black yonder.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's weird, but maybe a little bit more deep delving into it.
Yeah.
Find out what's causing this thing.
I think it was the aliens they shot down in Alaska. Probably they
Probably.
were probably causing it.
Maybe that's what these things are. They're trying to come back and get like this downed probe or something. From the 60s.
Since the 1960s,
Yeah,
they've been trying to get
they've
the
been trying.
probe that they shot down yesterday.
Maybe
They're
this
time
alien,
travelers, and
maybe this alien race isn't too advanced, and it takes them a long time to get here. We shoot them down and like, fuck.
Could you imagine?
Oh man, we're gonna need another 60 years to get back there again.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Okay, well, that's probably all we have to say about that. Okay, so I would say that that's probably a good place to end in the podcast this week.
It's a good spot.
As always, like, share, subscribe, watch our live podcast every Friday at 7.
Yeah, you got something to say, we'll respond to it.
Yeah, be part of the discussion. Right now,
tell us why we're stupid.
Right.
Because we think we're pretty smart.
Maybe
so tell us why we're stupid.
Maybe you're smarter, and you'll have things to say, and we can
be enlightened. You're the idiot, and we'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah, either or.
I don't know if that's all that likely.
Nah, not very likely. We're very nice, but we do welcome the criticism. And we do welcome the exchange. We obviously that's what we're doing here. We're having exchanges between each other on topics that either we know something about or nothing, and we're just trying.
Usually,
to
we know hardly
hardly anything.
We usually read into it a little beforehand, so it's like
we're just pretty curious.
Stuff that interests us. Whether it's politics, aliens, space, conspiracy theories,
right?
All the cool stuff.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, 7 p.m. Bye.
Bye.